Smoking culture is apparently much different in Europe than it is here in the US. And today I'm going to find out because I'm curious about it. It's just one of those things that fascinates me so much because Europeans are so much more healthy than Americans. You guys have much better food. It's one of the biggest topics that we do here on the channel that I love covering, because if there's one thing that America could take from European countries, it is the way that you guys treat your health. So let's look at smoking.
I just saw a group of 14-year-old, maybe younger, hopefully not boys, smoking, like actually smoking cigarettes in front of someone who looked like their teacher or their sports coach, and I was appalled. This is
Appalled.
something I don't think I'll ever get over, is not only
That's one thing you're never going to get over?
how much smoking there is in Croatia, but the amount of young people that smoke in Croatia. It's a little surprising. I just saw a group of
Okay. We got a little bit an American, maybe Canadian. I'm not too sure. Appalled at the smoking at a young age. Kind of funny because I think I had my first cigarette when I was like 10. No, and not because like somebody gave me a cigarette or I was out smoking in public. I think I stole my parents' cigarettes. I don't think I did. I stole my parents' cigarettes and would go behind the house next to the creek and cough up a lung. All right, let's look at the comments. It's a normal thing in Croatia, just like in America, for children to have weapons. That's funny. Oh my God. I have so many thoughts on this. She actually responded to this one and said, people shouldn't have access to firearms in the US in the unregulated way that they do now. Okay, kids are not allowed to purchase weapons. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to get a lot of stuff on that one. Safer than eating a burger in America. Honestly, probably true. I'm too European for this. I love your guys' comments on stuff. It's so funny. All right, let's keep going.
It's interesting how so many European countries have a reputation of living like healthier lifestyles, but for some reason they still love smoking so much, and it's kind of like the opposite of the US. When I got to my hostel yesterday, they mentioned that there's free dinner, and it was nothing fancy, but I was like, I should go. Like, I haven't been that social this trip. I can meet some people, get some free food. And I went, and I ended up meeting a good amount of people. Like, it was pretty fun. But after we finished eating, like, we were still sitting around the table talking, and it was a group of like 4-ish Europeans and like 2 Americans. And these were people from all over Europe. There was someone from Greece, someone from Germany, someone from France, and one girl in particular, she was from Greece. She had been smoking like the entire dinner, like just hand rolling cigarettes, like going one after another, and she eventually
hand rolling cigarettes. Those are probably good ones.
Offered it to everyone else, and like it was such a stark contrast. Every European who was there, you said yes, they wanted to smoke, and then the 2 Americans were like, no thank you, and they clocked it right.
I would have been like, hell yeah. I haven't had one in forever.
They were like, oh, that's so American that you don't smoke. And we were like, well, like, the propaganda worked on us. Like, we don't want lung cancer. And I was like, do you even like the taste of cigarettes? Because I just find it hard to believe that people are like, yummy, like toxic smoke. And they were all kind of like, no, not really. One guy literally was like, yeah, every time I smoke, I have to have like a cigarette or 2 to get used to it. And then I start to like it. They basically were like, yeah, we know the risks. Like, we don't even really like it that much, but we just don't care. So it didn't really answer my question, because like I still don't really understand why smoking is so much more popular in a lot of European countries, despite the fact that they have like relatively healthy lifestyles. Like, it seems contradictory, but then again, a lot of Americans live unhealthy lifestyles and they don't even smoke. So like, there's just so many factors. And yes, this is the beautiful Lake Como behind me, you guys. I'm so sad to be leaving Italy. Today's my last day.
All right. He said, but there are so many factors that go into a healthy lifestyle. So it's almost like smoking just cancels out some of the other things. Yeah, 100%. And look, I don't advocate for people to be smoking, like chain smoking nonstop, but if you can control it, having an occasional cigarette kind of just like soothes out your stress. And especially when you were like a bunch of people on a night on the town having a cigarette, it's nice then. All right. Someone says it's just aesthetic. You'll get it. It's also a way to socialize easily, actually. Yeah, that is. Yeah, it is a good social tool. You don't want lung cancer and chose colon or stomach cancer due to the diet. My hot take is that if European countries reduce the number of smokers similar to the US, their obesity rates would have risen similarly as well. I don't know. Maybe like slightly. I do know that when you smoke, you tend to eat a little bit less. But then again, I've seen some massive people smoking a ton. So I'm not too sure if that holds up. I think it's more of just the food.
We have a question for Greeks. How is it allowed and how is it legal to smoke everywhere inside Lithuania?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, look, I looked up at the the name, the Crop Twins. I was like, damn, these girls look very similar. All right, let's keep
We
going.
were inside. In Lithuania, like there's dedicated spaces to smoke even outside, but like inside is no, it's like the biggest. I think the biggest culture shock we experience in Greece is how much you smoke from like clubbing, and our hair just smells like cigarettes. For 2 days. Like you can't like wash it off. Smoke outside, but inside is crazy. We have a.
I'm a little bit with them. The smoking inside, unless it's a specific place that is designated for smoking inside. Like here, I hate to bring it back here, but we do have one bar down in Nashville that allows inside smoking. And when you go there knowing that like, hey, this is a place that like we can smoke inside if you want to. But I'm with them a little bit. Having the smoking inside, especially when you're not in the mood for a cigarette, is probably a little bit of a downer. Let's look at the comments here. This is Greece, my dear. We are different than others. Because we are Greeks and we have the personal freedom in our DNA, thanks God. We are not robots. That's an interesting comment. All right. I keep forgetting this isn't normal anywhere else. Y'all have it good. I like it. Everyone's like supporting it.
When you don't smoke in France.
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
Bonjour!
Oh, you from the America?
Born and raised, my friend.
Okay, do you have, how do you say, a cigarette for me, please?
No, sorry, I don't.
Are you serious?
I don't smoke.
You don't smoke?
That's right.
Why? What's wrong with you?
I just don't want to.
You don't want to be happy? You don't like to feel a penis in your life?
I mean,
I like how they put the... I like how they put the parentheses around the H's.
I like being happy.
No, this is the problem. You see, this is why your French is so terrible.
Wow, that's... Wait, what?
Bah oui, yes. Happiness makes the language flow. The passion, the joie de vivre.
Okay.
Without a cigarette, what do you have?
I have lungs that function.
What a waste. Everyone is gonna die from cancer anywhere, including you.
French people are so rude.
Kinda right.
We are not rude. We are honest.
Bruh.
All right. After a said I didn't smoke, my French said, you must have asthma. Someone says us smokers in the United States are looked down upon. I don't know. I mean, if you're like, there's a range, right? If you're between like 35 and like 65 and you're smoking, you may be looked down a little bit upon. Just because it's like, why are you smoking? You're not young, you're not out. And then if you're above 75 and you're still smoking, at that point, it's like, dude, just rip them. Go for it. My grandma died at, I think, 84, and she was still smoking daily. It was insane. And she didn't die from smoking. It was kind of like a freak accident. But all right, a quick get out of my face would have solved this conversation. Obviously, it's a skit, you idiot. God. How it feels having a cigarette in Europe. Cigarette in America. Was he at what the hell is he at? All right. So it says, I live in Europe and nobody thinks smoking is cool here. Where in Europe? I'm kidding. All right. Let's keep going.
Cigarettes in New York do not smell the same as cigarettes in Europe. Like when I pass someone smoking
They probably have, I bet you anything. Let's actually look really quick. I wonder if the cigarettes no, because I think I've seen some of our cigarette packs in Europe. We're going to look though. I'm curious if cigarettes in Europe have less chemicals in them. What do you think? No, European cigarettes do not necessarily have less chemicals overall. Let's see here. So it just says that Europe tobacco products directive has stricter rules, stricter rules on flavors in cigarettes, and then the US is more permissive on many additives. Okay, all right, so not too much difference. All right, let's get back over to it.
in Europe. Like when I pass someone smoking a cigarette in New York, I'm like, ugh, and it's during the day, I'm like, ugh. In Europe, when I smell the smell of cigarettes, I'm like, honey, I'm fucking home. Cigarettes in New York do not.
All right. Tobacco is different, less chemicals in Europe. That's the first comment. I did not read that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but you saw what we just looked at. I didn't read through all of it, though. They definitely taste different. German Marlboro Golds are noticeably smoother than Czech ones. Oh, okay. Because USA has real freedom, hence no regulation on tobacco. So a US cigarette is like 3 to 4 times as strong as the EU counterpart. I don't. Okay. I hate so much about this comment. All right. Used to smoke and was stationed in Japan. Cigarettes over there tasted and smelled way better than the US. Ended up quitting when I got back because the cigarettes tasted stale. Good thing, I guess. Okay, well, maybe there is like a massive difference. I have no idea. Smokers in Paris.
Yeah, if you're not happy, go inside.
That's funny. All right. But that's the rule. Don't sit in the smoking section to complain about the smoke. They're outside smoking free. Inside smoking is not allowed. Yeah, okay. Someone says, yeah, he has a point.
But you can't move to Europe because everybody smokes cigarettes there. Think about the secondhand smoke. So here in the States, we're pretty much told our entire lives that in Europe, everybody smokes. But it's more complicated than that.
Kinda,
So first things
yeah.
first, Europe is a big place. It's not just one country, and every different country within Europe has different smoking prevalence rates. Everyone typing that comment yelling at me for saying the word Europe, I understand. In fact, don't delete that comment. Just finish
got
it
the
off by
disclaimer.
telling me your favorite animal or something and leaving a funny hybrid comment. A lot of the Nordic countries are some of the least smoking countries, and some of the more Eastern European countries are the most smoking countries. Like Bulgaria
Okay.
smokes the most. Like 38% of people smoke in Bulgaria or something like that. So where I'm in
Damn,
Portugal, it says about
38%?
25% of people smoke, and that is on par with some U.S. states. In fact, the average in the United States is 1 out of 5, so 20%. But that's all the statistics.
What? It's that high? I did not think it was still that high. It's got to be, yeah, it's the older, it's got to be the boomers. They do smoke a lot. It was, I mean, obviously, the older you are, you started smoking and there wasn't as much knowledge on it back then, so then you're just kind of stuck with
data,
it.
and that's boring. Let's talk about how we feel. So I think people feel people smoke more in European countries because it's a lot more in your face, right? There's a lot more third spaces to smoke in. You can see
Okay.
people at a cafe or outside of a cafe smoking, or on their balcony in the apartment smoking, right? Here in the United States, we don't have a lot of those like public spaces, I guess. That's just my theory. Let me know what you think, because I think smoking is just as common in some places as is shown by data, but I
Yeah.
think we just don't see it as much. And that's why people have this kind of romanticized view of, oh, Europe, everybody smokes. And in my own lived experience, which doesn't mean much, but it's anecdotal, in Portugal, when I've been there, it doesn't really feel like that many more people are smoking or vaping than when I'm back home. At least definitely not to the extent that I've been told that Europeans smoke all the time. Now, Portugal is just one country. Of course, it's not like France or Bulgaria, somewhere like that, where a lot more people statistically smoke. But it's interesting, a lot of these stereotypes and sweeping generalizations about the entire continent of Europe that were kind of picked up in World War II, that have just kind of stuck around, have just kind of lingered, right? I'm sure everyone watching this has a lot to say, so let me...
I would say even if it was that, I mean, a lot of the Americans back in, the 40s, 50s, pretty much everyone smoked back then. So first comment, Europe is not a country. It's a crocodile. That's hilarious. Someone was typing it out. That's their favorite animal. Okay. It's forbidden in many countries in Europe. I wonder which one. Any replies on here? Let's see. Someone says the UK has a generational ban on smoking too. And then someone says, no, it doesn't. You have to be 18 to buy them. That's it. I think you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes now here in the States. It used to be 18, but they raised it. So in Portugal, it is forbidden smoke in cafes, restaurants, and transport. Someone says, what? Not here in Norway. All right, so a lot of smoking happened in Norway. I did see I saw something on X. Maybe it might have been this morning or yesterday, but it was, I think France just banned nicotine pouches, and someone from Sweden in the government, I think, had made a comment like kind of being, a little upset over it, which I thought was wild because smoking is really big in France and nicotine pouches are way more safe than smoking. I don't know. It was interesting. If you guys know anything about that, talk about it in the comments below. Maybe I can find it.
For example, when you look at smoking, you're just like, oh, it's a bad habit. But really, what is it? It's giving your body some time during a stressful work day, during traveling at the airport, during a party when you've maybe be a bit socially overstimulated. It always gives you the right to go outside and have a minute for yourself and do breath work. Do like a perfect technique of breath work at a cool party. Like, this is genius, to be honest. And sadly, it is connected to cancerous things. And sadly, it is connected to nicotine, which will get you hooked. But there's an aspect of it that is super genius and intelligent. And respecting that part of it, I think, is essential to then dealing with it in a different way.
Yeah. So if you want to quit smoking, you really should consider, how will I take this minute for myself in a different way? You would.
And there was a study, I think it was the first one of its kind in that size and everything, that breathing techniques can really help ending your smoking habit, because they lessen
I believe that 100%.
An aspect of it that gets you like nervous or really unwell. The de-stressing, for example, and the stabilizing of the mood. And so taking one genius aspect of those habits, at least with you, can be an approach. I'm not saying this is the perfect 100% recipe, but it's a part of not looking down on your body, but understanding it and then going from there. But for example,
that was interesting. That was a good thought-provoking take. Gosh, you know, there is something about it when you are a smoker, especially when you're working a job. Like, I used to work in restaurants for a very long time. And before I smoked and people would take breaks in the restaurant, I was always so jealous that they got like an extra 10-minute break because I didn't get one. And then I started smoking, and then I was like, hey, I gotta go get a smoke break. And you always find someone that you're working with, like a buddy or a friend. Hey, you want to take a break really quick? And it was very stress relieving. I will be honest, that is true. Please invent healthy cigarettes. I guess that's kind of what vapes are, but they're not really healthy either, are they? Someone says, fine, I'll have another. Oh, gosh.
In some parts of Eastern Europe, they still have smoking rooms inside of the airport. Well, this is Bucharest, Romania, and this is a smoking room that I just recently...
That's a big smoking room. I've been in one airport that had a smoking room, and it was like one couch and 2 chairs, and it was like a tiny little room, hidden. Like, there was no glass windows. It was just a door. You had to ask someone where it was at. Where was I at? Dallas? Maybe Atlanta? I'm not too sure.
And I was completely shocked because in the Western world, they're all completely gone.
It might have been in Utah. Every airport should have such a room. I think most of them do. I just don't think that they're normally this big. Like, that's massive. It's in most of Europe, to be fair. Yeah, see. Munich, Germany has one. Okay. So they are out there. Maybe that one was just oversized.
Right, my mother smokes 70 cigarettes a day. There's a photograph of me and her. She's breastfeeding me. I'm about 6 months old. She's smoking and resting the ashtray on my stomach. And when I showed her this photo, I thought she'd feel guilty. She said, you were a fucking difficult baby. I needed that cigarette. In Scotland, that was normal when I was a kid, right? When I was 7 years old, more than half of the population of Britain smoked. And people smoked everywhere. People smoked on the tube. People smoked on planes. The doctor would smoke while he was examining you. I'm not joking. I remember that happening, right? So if I could take you back to the Britain of 1987 and you could walk around, you would feel sick because the smell of smoke was everywhere. Fun enough, I was with my mother. There was a catastrophic fire at King's Cross Station here in London in 1987, I think. There was a fire, someone had put out a cigarette near an escalator and it killed more than 50 people. It was awful. And my mother said, oh, that was the worst day of my life. And I said, oh, were you there? Did you know someone who died? She said, no, that's the day they banned smoking on the tube.
Oh, gosh. That's wild. That's a wild story. 3.5 packs a day was an epic mom. Oh, jeez. And everyone was happy with life. I think it was probably due to just a different time. We should bring back smoking on the tube. Someone says sounds straight up like school toilets at 10 a.m. That's nuts. I never smoked inside of the school. Man to lose residency after using memorial to light his cigarette. What? That's up. Who does that? There's literally like an entire rope and then chains going around it. What? The French government was set to strip the residency permit of a man who lit a cigarette at the tomb of the unknown soldier underneath the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Did I get that close enough? All right. On August 4th, local media said, the man was arrested shortly after he kneeled down to light a cigarette using the eternal flame. That's fucking... Jeez. They condemned the act online, reporting that a 47-year-old Moroccan man seen in the video was set to be stripped of his residency. I don't know. Good. All right. Yeah. Strip him of his residency. Disrespectful as hell, but also funny as fuck. It's funny to see like it now, but if I was there, I would have been pretty embarrassed for him. A fine would do, but losing residency over that is insane. I don't know, man. You got to respect the culture. You got to respect. And it's not like he didn't know. There's literally people standing around a roped line staring at it. And he just, okay. Why is everyone so shocked and complaining about him losing residency? I thought it was normal if you've been disrespectful to another country's laws, culture, or traditions. If you're a tourist, you'd be kicked out of the country immediately. That's pretty true. Just got to Italy, daydreaming about the cig I'm gonna rip immediately when I'm off this train. That's pretty cool. Alright, that song's gonna get cut. In public with no hate. No one talks about this enough. Laugh my ass off. German parents, please don't ever smoke. Eastern European parents. Eastern European parents, if I ever see you smoking, you will smoke before me until you vomit. Someone says, or eat the cigarettes or smoke the whole pack at once in front of me. That's kind of what my parents had told me when because they smoked, and they're like, if you ever smoke and we catch you, I'm going to make you smoke the entire pack. They never did though. And then we start smoking at like 13. My cousin's mom actually made him smoke 1 pack of cigarettes. That's crazy. All right, that was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that one. If you guys enjoyed the video, smash the like button on the way out, subscribe, stick around, and I'll see ya in the next one. Peace.